This shit ain't for kids, bruh. What up, everyone? It's your boy Xmanny87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is my Black Widow Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure Series Wave overview and ranking. Just a little discussion where we can just kick back and both talk about these figures. And if you've seen my ranking videos before, you know how this works. I will talk about my least favorite first and work my way up to my favorite of the wave. Now with that said, let's get into it, shall we? Alright, starting off with my least favorite figure out of the wave. You guessed it, it is Red Guardian. I gave this guy a 5 out of 10 because it is the worst figure out of the wave. And not just the worst figure out of the wave. In my opinion, I think this is one of the worst MCU figures ever made as far as, you know, face print technology goes, because the body and sculpt I don't have a problem with. I don't. It's one, the QC issue with the shield, as you guys saw in my review. The shield broke, and I had to go to Target. I exchanged it. I got one that's better, and one with better paint apps too, so happy about that. But the face sculpt is definitely, oh man, it's atrocious. It's not good. I do not like this at all. You know, I wish we got a helmeted version. That would have been so much better, and we didn't. So, you know, I think we'll definitely get that in the future. But, you know, this having an open hand, like, what the hell? I get it, you know, the clip. You can flip it and put it on there, but they gotta get rid of that shield, that clip flipping thing. And seeing this guy early on from the promo images, I was disappointed, and I was just hoping that, hey, you know, I just thought, like, hey, it's a proto image, it'll probably be better in hand, and it's just, I feel as disappointed as when I saw the promo image. So yeah, it's not a figure I would recommend at all. I would just say wait for a better Red Guardian to come out. Out of the 8 figures in this wave, coming in at number 7 is Black Widow. She's my second least favorite in this wave. Another one where I felt like they dropped the ball on the face print tech, especially when you get the White Widow Deluxe one. This one just blew that away, and again, it is the same head sculpt and face sculpt and all that. It's just, it comes down to paint job, and paint job makes a big difference. And, you know, once I got this one, definitely lowered my liking on this one. But, I mean, the colors are nice, the gray, black, and the gold, but you know, and the accessories were okay. The batons were a little warpy, and she's got the 2 pistols, but she didn't have regular gripping hands to hold the batons. You gotta hold them with the trigger finger hands, which the White Widow Deluxe does have regular gripping hands, so I was hoping that this one would have the same in black. But hey, it is what it is. You could do a head swap between the two if you get them both, but you know, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen a few people break theirs already, so just be extra careful if you do decide to go that route. With Black Widow giving her a 7 out of 10, Jelena Belova, I gave the same rating, but I will say that I ended up liking Jelena way more than the Black Widow. Maybe because it's a new character, but I really like the Florence Pugh face print. It actually wasn't that bad compared to Red Guardian or that Black Widow that I just showed off. And yeah, I really like the hairstyle. She has a bunch of, you know, braids going around her hair, and she doesn't have those heels. You know, she has flat boots, so that makes it easier for posing. And her elbow range is what made a big difference too, because man, look at that, she could touch her face. As if you see my review, she has, you know, a good elbow range and much better than Black Widow. So in articulation department, I say she is much better than the Black Widow figure. Coming in at number 5, we have Spymaster here, and I know I gave this guy a 6.5 out of 10 rating in my review. I did mention that I wanted to give him a little bit of a higher rating because I did have fun with photography, and now looking back at it, I did actually have fun with this figure, and putting him back with the, you know, putting him together with the older Iron Man villains was really nice to see. So I did change my rating and gave him a 7, and it is the same as Jelena and Black Widow, but I ended up liking this one a little bit more than those two, so I just wanted to give you my reasoning of why I changed my rating, because at the end of the day, you guys know, photography is what counts for me, and I did have fun, and I like the nice, bright blue and yellow colors. Yeah, I know he's on the Bucky Cap mold, but you know what? He is a new character, and I'm all for getting new characters in the Marvel Legends line. So Spymaster did grow on me, and I wouldn't mind getting another variation of him in a different costume. Alright, now that we've reached the halfway mark of the wave, my fourth favorite figure is the MCU Taskmaster figure, and I really like this figure a lot. I gave it a 10 out of 10, and it is so freaking awesome. I mean, you know, the accessories we got, you know, the crossbow, the arrow, or I should say the bow, not a crossbow, the shield, you know, the sword, you got the alternate hands, the two claws, even though they were reused from Killmonger, and then the two closed-fisted hands, those are really, really cool. The sculpt overall was amazing. I did bring up how a lot of the parts in the costume look very feminine, so, I still don't know if Taskmaster is going to end up being a woman or not. You know, it's just, again, a speculation, a theory. But I did bring up some good points why I think it might end up being a woman. Anyway, that aside, the figure is amazing. The sculpt is so good. One of my favorite sculptings out of all the MCU figures, and the paint job. I love that metallic sheen on the blue and then the orange. It just makes everything pop out, and then you get gray here and there. I just love it. You know, the scarf thing is a little odd because, you know, Taskmaster is supposed to have a cape. So if that's supposed to resemble a cape, it would be cool if it went behind them, but I don't know. You know, you see this little backpack thing, and it could be something where, like, you know, it might be something techie involved, you know. He might have a cape, he or she might have a cape, and it might be like some sort of glider or something. That would be really, really cool. But yeah, when you look at the head sculpt and everything, it's so cool, man. And especially that little camera lens in the middle of the forehead, I thought that was brilliant. This is definitely one of the best MCU figures in recent years. Anyway, a highly recommended figure. I definitely think you should get it. Next up is my third favorite figure out of the wave, and it is the OG Crossbones. And I know many of you are probably thinking, you gave this guy an 8.5 out of 10, and you gave Taskmaster a 10 out of 10 in your review. Yes, because I try to call it down the middle as best as possible. But for me in this ranking, it's more of who I like more. And I have more of an attachment with OG comic Crossbones than I do an MCU Taskmaster. So in this case, you know, it's just comic books, man. I love this figure. I ended up taking more pics of this figure than any other figure out of this wave, because I did want to set up a story scene, and, you know, it's a good figure, and, you know, a lot of you guys out there saying he should have been on the Omega Red body mold. In my video, I stated I wish he was on the Omega Red body mold, no doubt, but yo, some of y'all are just dark and calling the figure as far as saying trash. Like, it's not that serious. It's not trash on this Hyperion body mold. The new parts really make it so much better. You know, when you have it on hand, it's so much better. Yeah, the shoulders are a little bit, you know, wonky, but if this guy was the first guy to ever release in the Hyperion body mold, those of y'all that were saying, you know, it was trash, it wouldn't be saying it, because a lot of y'all thought that the Hyperion body mold, when it was first ever released as the big body buck, yeah, we're sweating it. Yeah, I liked it, and it was a good body mold for the time. I get it now. It's, you know, it's obsolete. Some of you are saying, "Oh, I'm passing. I'll wait till they come out with another Crossbones." I wouldn't be so confident in saying that, just because look how long it took for a Crossbones to come out from the first one, right? It was exclusive 2008. The second one came out as another exclusive in San Diego Comic-Con Thunderbolts box set. That was in 2013. Then you get this one in 2020. It's about 5 or 6 years apart, so I don't think there's gonna be another Crossbones out anytime soon. So I would say definitely grab this guy, because you just don't know when they're gonna make another Crossbones. It might be freaking years, and we might not ever get one. I doubt it. I think we will get another Crossbones, but Certainly not in 2 or 3 or 4 years. That's why for my rating, to be fair, I gave him an 8.5 out of 10. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I didn't need another Crossbones in my collection because I already have 2 of them. It's not about that. That would be real selfish for me to say because the last 2 were very hard to get exclusives that many collectors don't have or never got a chance to get. So it's about making it attainable for those who never got those Crossbones to finally be able to add a Crossbones to your collection. So I just don't think about my collection. I'm always thoughtful of others' collectors' collections. So for a $19.99 price point compared to those Crossbones that went for $300 plus, this guy is a steal. One thing I forgot to mention in my review was this bandana. I wish you were able to rotate it. Yeah, the guns, you know, the accessories, I like this. Thank you to whoever pointed it out, because I thought this was new in my review. These were from the Cable guns, so this little mini double barrel shotgun did come from Cable. And I don't know why I didn't remember that, but I guess it wasn't a memorable accessory enough for me to remember it. But yeah, I'm okay with these guns. That's fine. It's just the Yanrog ones that I'm not a fan of. This dude would have definitely had a higher rating on my list if this dude's paint was much better on the mask. But other than that, you know, still a good, fun figure. It's what you make of it. And my second favorite figure out of this wave is the Winter Soldier. This was my most anticipated figure out of this wave, and I really liked how he just came out. And a lot of you really were sold once I mentioned how this Winter Soldier looks like the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated series. I got that vibe. He really, really looks like that. And I just, you know, I don't think this head sculpt is bad whatsoever. Some are saying it is. I don't see it. It's really good, especially for the good guy Winter Soldier, you know, it's not the villain. Now, looking at the arm, I really like the arm, the way it came out. I just wish the paint was more metallic like Silver Surfer's and Colossus, because this is kind of dull looking. So we haven't seen that paint in a minute, and I wish they brought it back for this one arm. I mean, come on, just one arm. And now looking at this arm, actually, I think this is going to be reused for the movie Cable figure coming out in a 2-pack with Domino, you know, the Foxman figures. So I think that's where we're going to see this again. I think that's where I saw this arm from at Toy Fair. But yeah, I mean, the weapons, he comes with the pistol, and he comes with a machine gun, assault rifle, and you know, got the watch, same as Killmonger. The sleeve was Killmonger as well. I overall just love the way this figure came out, and I really hope we get one with the Soviet Red Star and more, you know, the brainwash Bucky Barnes and his pupils in all white. But man, this is a good looking figure. I really, really love it. And the old Hasbro one did have a better like paint wash applications, but overall this is just better in proportions, especially when you put them side to side, you know, and looking at them from the side. This one's just better in proportion. He's much, you know, bulkier on the side, whereas this one, I mean, he is just looks awkward, man. And that rotation, that torso rotation, and down to the waist, it just looks so skinny. So man, looks like this guy was starving on the field, and this one is much healthier. I just wasn't feeling the ball joint on this whatsoever. I did wish he had alternate hands, but hey, you know what? It's an awesome figure. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I loved it. One of my most anticipated figures out of this wave, so I'm happy to have him. And I do highly recommend you get this Winter Soldier. He is just a ton of fun. And my number one favorite figure out of this entire wave is the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure. Yeah, I love this figure. If you're looking for paint, if you're looking for sculpt, if you're just looking for a good size Build-A-Figure, man, this guy will definitely make you happy in all those categories, because it was just a fun figure. It is a fun figure, I should say, and the way that this came out, man, the upper torso being, actually lower torso and up being newly sculpted parts, it's just beautiful. Man, even if the Winter Soldier arm came with this kind of silver paint, I would have loved that, but Yeah, man, the reuse for the Ironmonger and Mandroid legs did not even bother me. It's just so freaking nice. And one of you mentioned in my comments that I had the neck the wrong way because I did have it like that, so my bad. And this is the correct way to have the neck, is with these power conduits, I think, whatever they're called, facing front. So thank you for that. It's just an amazing figure, and my boy Bright2J, go check out his YouTube. I'll have a link in the description below. He actually knows the guy who sculpted this. I think his name is David Gallagher, and sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but yeah, he did such an amazing job with this figure. It is absolutely beautiful. I think this is definitely going to go down as one of the best Bafs of 2020. He is just so good to look at. He really is, and it's just one of the better Build-A-Figures that we've gotten in recent years too, and we've had some really good ones, but this one is just so freaking dope. Just everything about this figure screams total awesomeness, and with those cylindrical tubes, they look amazing. How they have like fluid-like texture inside, and this one has there's a crack sculpted on it, so that's pretty cool, to differentiate it a bit. That is really dope. Just overall, this figure is the best figure out of the wave, hands down. Alright everyone, and now to wrap this up, it is a little on the lackluster side. It is, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit of a lackluster wave. The best ones are definitely Crimson Dynamo, Winter Soldier, Crossbones, and Taskmaster. If you were to ask me, those are like the four, must-haves out of this entire set. The rest of the figures, rest of the wave, the half of a wave, it's just like, eh. Splitting this wave in half, you have 4 MCU figures and 4 comic figures. Sorry, MCU fans, but Team Comic wins in this wave. You have 2 Iron Man and 2 Captain America related characters that are good additions to bolster up those mythos on your shelves. It's just funny to me how in a dedicated Black Widow wave, they didn't give her like a dedicated Black Widow villain. Yeah, she's had run-ins with Crimson Dynamo before, but I meant like something deep in her lore, like Black Spectre, Black Lotus, or even Iron Maiden. That would have been really, really cool. Anyways, my final rating out of this wave is a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 just because, again, I like the comic figures in this wave, and there is one great movie figure in Taskmaster. I just really wish that the comic figures had alternate hands over the movie ones. Like, I just feel that Winter Soldier and Crossbones would have definitely benefited from that, instead of giving all those extra pair of hands to Jelena and Black Widow, and you got Taskmaster that came with a lot. And don't get me wrong, like, I like the way Taskmaster came out. Wish he could keep his accessories just as is, but I think Winter Soldier and Crossbones would have definitely benefited more out of that. It just sucks to see the comic book figures get the short end of the straw, especially when they are the best figures in a wave. Not just this wave, but I really think that the comic figures here deserved it more. Being that this is the second Marvel Legends dedicated wave based off a female character, comparing this wave to last year's Captain Marvel wave, I will say that this wave is definitely the better one. So with all the new Black Widow stuff they are pumping out, definitely much better than all the stuff that they pumped out for Captain Marvel last year, except for Minerva. That shit was dope. But seeing what is offered from this wave, to the Deluxe Black Widow, to the White Widow Deadly Origins, and the Grey Widow from the Uncanny X-Men 268 cover, I believe it was, I definitely think that Black Widow is the better merchandise winner. So I say if you want to complete this wave to get the Build-A-Figure, I would definitely say get Winter Soldier, Crossbones, and Taskmaster if you see them in stores. Like, don't sleep on them. The rest of the figures you'll most likely get on clearance at like Amazon or something like that, which will make it easier for you to build Crimson Dynamo, because I think he's worth it, especially if you can get, a good deal for the other figures and get him for a low of a price as you can. So now I kick it back to you guys. What do you guys think of this wave? What are your favorite figures in this wave? Rank them, please. Go ahead. I love to see people's lists. So share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.